Hello everyone, my name is AJ, and I don't have a good intro. Let's not waste time. K-Pop Demon Hunters is the best movie I've seen since Spider-Verse 2 came out. Nothing else that even comes close to comparing is coming to my mind. I was supposed to get out a completely different video this week, but this movie is just so dang good that I halted everything else that I was doing to talk about it. It's about a girl group of K-pop stars that are trying to seal soul-eating demons out of the human world forever by singing. Their singing unites people together, and that bond creates a force field called the Hanmoon. They're 2 weeks away from making the Hanmoon gold and sealing demons away forever, but there's a problem. A demon boy band is coming to steal their fans. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, this premise sounds incredibly silly to the point of actual mental disability, but it's actually so good. In the hands of different writers, this movie could have been a disaster. It could have been so incredibly cringe. I actually did see some of the deleted scenes or scenes that were rewritten later, and oh boy, they were rough. But because of the glory of draft number 2, it wasn't. The execution was perfect. This movie is really campy, and it knows it's campy, but it's not ashamed of that. There's something about taking a really stupid joke and then putting all the effort into it so that it's objectively good on top of being funny. But they're also really good at knowing when to reel in the silly, so that way there's definitely still jokes, but it's not all silly all the time. It's so hard to figure out how to even talk about this movie because there's just so much to talk about, and when my brain really likes something, it just goes brrrr. All cylinders fire at once, and it's really hard to find a starting point to jump off of. That's why I usually talk about things that I like that aren't good, because then I can separate talking points into buckets of good and bad. But with this movie, everything about it is so solid that almost everything about it falls into the good bucket. Starting with the three main characters, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. Rumi is our main character and the leader of Huntrix, our demon hunting girl band. She's also the best vocalist of the group, both within universe and also in real life. The casting was absolutely excellent. Whoever it was that picked the singer that voices Rumi was a genius, because that girl is easily one of the best singers that I have heard in a very long time. She's a fantastic singer with incredible range, but she can also act while singing. When you're singing in a musical, it's important to remember that you're also still supposed to be acting. For some bad examples of how to do this incorrectly, Rachel Zegler and that lady that played Ariel in the live-action movie, they're both incredibly talented singers, but neither one of them is a good musical actor. Ariel couldn't act very well at all, and Zegler can only halfway act, but can't act when she's singing. Both of them sing in a way that says, listen to how I sing, rather than listen to what I'm singing. I think the score in combination with Rumi's singing was combined perfectly to create a situation in which listen to how I sing works within universe, but also later on there are other songs where listen to what I'm singing is utilized instead. They lean more on listen to what I'm singing for most of the important songs, with the exception of How It's Done, which is the first song of the movie and was written with listen to how I sing in mind. Rumi's story and premise are nothing new. She's the daughter of a human huntress and a demon, though we don't have the time to learn about either. We know that her mother is dead, but we don't know how this happened, and we know nothing at all about her demon father. Demons in this world have patterns that mark them as demons, and Rumi has these patterns too. She hates them, and she hates that she's part demon, and her hope is that when they turn the Hanmoon gold, her patterns will disappear and she'll become a normal human. This kind of premise is a pretty common cliche in a lot of anime and other Asian works. However, in the way that it was tackled here, it felt new and fresh. Her story is jointly connected with another character that we'll talk about more soon enough that really fleshes her out and makes her feel special. Also, she's a huge workaholic, and boy do I relate. I actually discovered while writing this script that I've been working 60-hour work weeks with everything combined. Oops. So yeah. I need to tone that down, and I need to set timers to prevent myself from doing that. I relate a lot. The other two girls don't get not nearly as much fleshing out, which although I'm a tad disappointed about because I want all of the lore and all of the movie now immediately, it's completely understandable. There's only so much time to explore everything within an hour and 35 minutes. I heard tales that the original cut of the movie was something like 3 hours and they had to cut it down significantly to make it a reasonable watch time. It all works though. It's completely understandable though. The first like 10 to 20 minutes feel a teeny bit rushed because the pacing is so breakneck, but it absolutely works. Like once it like they hit a point where they start slowing it down a little bit, and that's when that's when stuff gets peak. It doesn't feel like there was anything in there that could have been cut out and replaced with other things. Everything that's in the movie feels necessary, either for character development or getting you acquainted with the characters or getting you attached to the characters or getting you to know the characters. It all feels necessary. Zoe is the main lyricist and rapper of the group. She's very feminine and cutesy and girly, and I love that. She's super enthusiastic and hyper, which does sometimes turn people off, but the other two love her for it, and it works wonderfully with their dynamic. She's a little naive, but the way that it's written makes that naivety come off as cute and endearing rather than downright stupid. Sorry, Charlie, you know I love you even if you are stupid and annoying. Zoe's story is that she feels like she doesn't really belong to either of the cultures that she's lived in. She grew up in the US and now works in Korea. I really wish that we would have taken some more time to explore this because I don't know. I didn't know what exactly she was struggling with, and now that I do know, I really don't understand. I think that's a feeling that's not super common. I could be totally wrong. To me, a place is just a place. If you can get to the grocery store within 15 minutes, your house doesn't suck, and you have people around you that you like, why would it matter where you live? It's not something that I understand even remotely, and it would be nice to have it explored a little bit more so that I could have come to understand her emotions better. It would have been something that was new for me. Even without knowing much about her depth-wise, I didn't even care. She's so dang cute and so much fun to be around that you barely notice the lack of character development. Mira is the dance choreographer and most abrasive of the group. She's super tough. We get a little snippet of her backstory, supposedly being the black sheep of the family. We also hear in the song Golden that she was considered a problem child, so we know that she didn't just not fit in with her family, she was actively considered a problem. I love that she's tough as nails, she's sarcastic and blunt, but at the same time, she's also so unabashedly feminine. That's not a combination we get to see a ton, especially here in the West as of recent. A lot of female characters that have been created in recent memory who have this kind of personality will also be written to have masculine hobbies and interests. There's nothing wrong with that, it does exist, but it does get tiresome for it to be every single strong female character. Sometimes it even feels like the writers look down on feminine hobbies or interests, or alternatively have this idea that you can't be tough and feminine at the same time. Mira is just such a breath of fresh air for me. I love her, she's my personal favorite. Her design is also my favorite. I love that she has this longer face with these scary fox eyes. They contrast beautifully with her twin-tailed pink hair with a pose in it. It's great. And when she's not performing, she has this one outfit that I think it has like a bear on it with this little pink bow, and it's all fuzzy and cute. I just love it so much. And she's not any less intimidating when she's dressed like this either, and it gives you so much insight into her character. These three really do feel like friends. I don't even know how they do it, but these three just have so much chemistry together, and they're so much fun to watch. Even though we don't get any backstory about how these three met, it doesn't even matter because the way that they're written and acted makes it feel like they've been friends for years. You really feel the bond they had, and it's delightful. And when that bond is challenged, everything about it feels correct. Mira and Rumi are the ones that like go at each other the most, like philosophically, not like quite fighting wise, and Zoe gets kind of caught in the middle, and all of that feels perfectly in line with their characters. Everything about it feels just so completely correct. I love it. Everything feels so natural and so real and so genuine in a way that I feel like I don't get to see very often. It's so well written. All of these characters just feel so human. Our villainous demon boy band is the Saja Boys. They are all wonderful. I think the best way to describe all of them collectively as a group is impossibly perfect. It's like a group of evil Ken dolls. Each one is satirizing common character types. Baby Saja, as I'm sure you've guessed by the name alone, is the baby of the group. Abby is the hot one. Mystery is the mysterious one. Romance is the romantic one. And Ginu is the bad boy with the tortured past. All of them, except for Gino, are so shallow that it's actually funny. They're all really playing up their chosen character types to maximize fan appeal. Since the Hanmoon gets its strength from a united bond of people, the best way to break it is by stealing the fans away. If they can just get half of the fans more interested in someone else other than the Huntrix, they can weaken the Hanmoon enough to start stealing souls again. Then they don't even have to steal the fans away the fair way, they can just straight up kill them. Even though the Saja Boys are super shallow on purpose, it feels like there's so much more there. Because the screen time with them is so limited, you don't need to show very much to make it still feel like they're real people that have real lives and real personalities off screen. Something that's crucial to writing, world building, art, and animation is that if the audience doesn't see something, then you don't have to spend a ton of time writing or animating it. If you've ever seen some of the behind the scenes footage of the Amazing Digital Circus animation stuff, this is something you know. There are some things that don't work perfectly in a 3D space, but because the camera doesn't see them, it doesn't matter. So long as it looks right on camera, you can get away with the illusion of sense. This same principle applies for world building and character work. You don't have to make every single character super complex and full of depth. If the character has very low screen time, the illusion of depth is enough. Most of the character building for the boys comes through the animation in tiny ways that are easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Hi, I'm interrupting to say that this video is sponsored by me! Go look at my Etsy or Ko-fi accounts. I have merch there and all of it is cool. Buy it! Buy it now! The only two of the characters in the movie that really get explored in depth are Rumi and Ginu. They're both struggling with being demonic, but in different ways. Spoilers, by the way, go watch the movie. Ginu started as just a guy living in ancient Korea, just a regular dude with regular problems like being poor. Mostly being poor. So to get out of being poor, he made a deal with Gima, the Demon King, to be a musician at the Emperor's palace. Ginu tells Rumi that his mother and sister got to live in the palace with him and they were only left in poverty again when the pattern spread and pulled them down to hell, and without him they were even worse off. He's tortured by memories of this and only started the Saja Boys so that Gima would take the memories away. Gino makes Rumi not feel quite as alone. He's the first person she's ever met that has a similar struggle to her. From what we're able to gather from the movie alone, the only remaining hunter from the previous generation is a woman named Celine. She promised that she would take care of everything that remained of Rumi's mother, but the only thing she left behind was Rumi, a half-human, half-demon. Celine never moved past her limited idea of demons and never questioned her hatred of them, which is half justified. Most of the demons that we meet are irredeemable, human-eating little awful people, but there were exceptions that she refused to recognize. She taught all of the Huntrix to hide their flaws, but Rumi especially got the short end of the stick. Celine was her only parental figure, so being consistently told your entire life that something about yourself that you were born with and can't change is a bad thing that must be hidden, even from people that you love and trust, it makes you hate yourself. So Rumi having someone that she doesn't have to hide from, it's very comforting, but it's also a double-edged sword. She inadvertently tied her idea of her own worth to him. She thought that if she could save him from Gima, that she could save herself, but she didn't take into account Gino's own selfishness. She trusted that he was telling her the full truth, but he wasn't. In reality, he abandoned his family to live in the palace and didn't think that maybe he could sneak out to bring them food and money and stuff. He fully deserved what happened to him, and he misled Rumi into thinking he was more innocent than he was. He became a demon of his own volition, not because of the deal, but because he pushed away the people around him to serve himself. Rumi was on this same path. She became more and more demonic the more she pushed away her friends to keep her secret. The point of this movie is the importance of connection. All of the girls know that objectively and how important connection is, but it's easy to lose sight of that ultimate goal. All three of them do, at least once throughout the movie. Once the Saja Boys started getting popular, they decided to write a diss track about them to win the Idol Awards. The song is called Takedown, and it's really good actually. But the problem with it thematically, as Rumi started to figure out, is just how hateful it was. Rumi was actually starting to lose her singing voice. The more she hated herself, the worse it got. And as she started to like herself and started to question her hatred of demons, even if it was partially based on fact, the more her voice recovered. But this song, Takedown, it was an expression of everything she hated about both demons and herself. That song put a rift between her and her friends, and I'm so glad the direction they decided to take with this. The three of them actually sat down like adults, talked about it, and agreed to sing a different song instead. They still have like a 3-act breakup, but it feels normal and natural. It doesn't feel like a cliche for the sake of cliche. Everything there just feels completely correct and really realistic. Something else that I love about this movie that just feels so darn fresh is just how real the characters feel. I keep mentioning it, but I can't emphasize enough. All of them feel like real people with real human flaws. Like, this is both true from a writing standpoint, where they are written with realistic flaws, but also from the way that they're animated and the way that they move around. All of them are allowed to be hot, but they're also allowed to be really silly and make ugly expressions. When we meet the girls for the first time, they're carb loading for a show, and they're all so silly about it. Like, this face that Rumi makes it's just so foul. When I first saw it, I thought that it would be like a one-off thing to demonstrate, oh wow, they're so quirky and weird, but I'm so glad it wasn't. Another one of my favorites was when Rumi and Jinu meet for the first time, and there's this cute romantic song playing, and Jinu's super hot, and there's slow motion, and the focus is soft, so he's even hotter, and then you cut back to Rumi, and she looks like she just got hit with a blast of hot air, and it's not cute at all. Oh, I loved it. It's not just the girls either that get to be both hot and silly. Jinu also gets that privilege. The other Saja boys also get to be silly, but Jinu especially gets it because he's got more screen time. Something that happens often in stories is that only one gender will get silly and ugly privileges. There's often an over-romanticization of the opposite sex, regardless of who's writing the story. Both men and women do this. And if it isn't over-romanticization of the opposite sex, it's over-romanticization of everyone except for the designated comic reliefs. Basically, what Romance's whole character is parroting, a character being so overly perfect because they're pretty to look at. Not in this movie. Jinu is eye candy, but he also slips on water in the bathhouse and is easily jump scared by Rumi. It's perfection. Love it. Speaking of comic reliefs, I love Bobby. I love Bobby so much. He's just so much fun. I don't even have the words to describe my feelings in detail. Just look at him. He's so happy to be there, and I love him so much. He's great. And I wish so badly that he had more screen time and more lines. Everything he said was just perfectly delivered. He's so fine. And they do give him like a little bit of depth. Something that happens towards the end of the movie, spoilers again, by the way, if you're still watching past the spoiler warning I already gave you, is Gima, like, something that he can do is that he can get in your head and like turn up like the voices of insecurity that you have about yourself. Like, the demons are like very on the nose representative of internal demons. And so we do get a little bit at the third act low point, where we get to hear the voices that are in the heads of Mira and Zoe and Bobby, starting with Bobby. Aw. My baby! Give me more Bobby. I need more Bobby! Overall, the moral of the story, go watch K-Pop Demon Hunters. It's streaming on Netflix. Treat the subscription like it's a movie ticket. You'll have a great time. Make sure to cancel it immediately, and you'll have a month of Netflix movies. And most of the Netflix movies are not very good, but you get Arcane and you get K-Pop Demon Hunters. So go do it. You'll have a great time. I do wish this movie had like maybe 20 to 30 more minutes to flesh out character backstories. It does do a lot more telling than showing on that front, but there's there's no padding either. There's nothing else I think they could really cut from the movie to make room for that. They were very efficient with their storytelling. And really this boils down to, I wish the movie was longer. That's the only criticism I have of the movie. That's a bar that most movies, TV shows, books, and games can only dream of having. That's the best kind of criticism ever, because it means that your show was good. Also, I wish Rumi and Gino kissed, and also I'm really glad they didn't do that dumb fake out death thing. I wish he would have survived without a fake out, but I respect them anyway for straight up killing him off, and I'm sad, and I wish he was not dead. Go watch the movie! Go watch it! Go watch the movie! A massive thank you goes out to my patrons, JRDS, CDN Redneck 05, Immortal Jesse, Mercer Scott Holt, Anna J, Honey, The Fun Guy, Chase Johnson, Stephen Drake, J Draws, Quinn, and Silent Savvy. You're the greatest. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out the Patreon. I take commissions. I have merch on Ko-fi and Etsy, and make sure to eat the soul of the like button. Bye-bye!